check out our guest who did have a really, really great presentation. I watched it and it made me want to cook.
And you don't cook.
No, I don't
at all.
cook. I actually thought, ooh, this might be good for, she made a spaghetti squash and it had this great ricotta sauce and a galette. And I thought, oh, maybe I could do this for the holidays and next holidays and stuff. So
I think she's going to tell you can.
Yes, I'm sure she
it's
will.
in you.
Well, let's talk to Kimberly Barnes. She is, as we said, a delight to watch on camera, but she also knows that food is an extremely political issue. She is the founder of Might Be Vegan and Food Love. Kimberly combines her expertise in plant-based cooking with social justice issues. She simultaneously works to feed those in need and educate others who have the means to bring about the change. Kimberly recently led, as we said, this virtual cooking class, which you all can go to the Switch for Good site. And also while you're buying your incredible T-shirts, you can watch her cooking class. And so hopefully if some of you saw it, you'll be excited to see her again today. And if you didn't, you already know that this conversation is going to be educational and entertaining. We're so happy to have you on the show today, Kimberly.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. So we found it so fascinating that you are a self-taught chef because you watched so much food TV with your grandmother growing up, and you became a cook. And when you became vegan, how did that affect your cooking? Were you nervous that your all the ways that you cooked as a kid would just be thrown out the window?
Oh, absolutely. When I decided to go vegan, I was concerned that I was going to lose flavor, because in my mind, going vegan meant eating salads for the rest of my life. So it was literally the last thing that I wanted to think of. Salads are great, but they're not amazing. I'm a foodie. So I loved, part of my family tradition is coming together around food. So losing that potentially was a big deal. So it was very important to me that when I started creating dishes, that I created ones that brought me back to home. And so what you see a lot of times in my dishes is just a reset to that Southern comfort food with different international influences, if you will. And so that's kind of where the foodie in me comes to life.
Yeah, you have a terrific Instagram page with lots of incredible photos of delicious food that looks both healthy, because it's got a lot of vegetables in it, and comforting and satiating. You started Might Be Vegan. What is that? And tell us why you started it.
So Might Be Vegan is literally the outgrowth of me wanting to help others find that Southern flavor that they love. So it started off with me just beginning to help people by preparing food for them. So people would call me and they say, hey, can you do a meal prep for me? Absolutely. So I would go into their home and I would prep food. Mm-hmm. But what I realized is, even though I love food and I love cooking, I don't like being in the kitchen all day. So I had to figure out a way that I could still have the love of food and bring that to people without having to stand in the kitchen for 14, 15 hours because I was dying. So what I did instead was figured out how I could use events and materials and content creation and all of that and bring food to people. So I shifted in 2019 to focusing on creating brand partnerships, very similar to what you ladies were talking about before, where you've now sponsored a soccer club and now you've introduced them to being dairy free. So now I've done the same thing. So back in 2018, we hosted the world's largest vegan tailgate ever at the Super Bowl. And so we did that in Atlanta and it was incredible. And so we brought together athletes, very much like something that you all have done, I'm sure. Dotsie and her history, amazing. Kudos, big claps to you and all of your accomplishments. But that's what I turned it into. I turned it into an experiential brand so that people could experience food and fall in love with food more so than trying to figure out mentally, okay, how am I going to do this? I'm like, no, don't think. Let me talk to you through your taste buds first. And so that's really what this is.
I'd love to talk to you about getting back to the real, like the nucleus of food, of soul food. As I said, I grew up in the South. I grew up in Kentucky. So, soul food as we know it today is not necessarily soul food from 200 years ago. And we had a Black vegan activist on that was really taking our audience through understanding the decolonized diet. I would love your thoughts and opinions on, because being a vegan chef now and bringing all those flavors back, do you feel like it takes you back to the roots of really the food that Black people ate before all the shit we did to them? I'll say it that way.
Yeah. So there are some flavors that I have not been fortunate enough to have because that heritage was taken from me. So some of what would be West African cuisine, I don't have that. That's not in my flavor profile. I don't know those flavors as far as what soul food is for me, and then how I've brought that into my cuisine. Honestly, it's about taking the sweet, the spicy, and the smoky. I think those are kind of the three essentials that I see in Southern cuisine, in soul food, because we use quite a bit of smoked pork to bring that smoky flavor into food. We contrast that with the heat. You're going to see a lot more heat in like New Orleans cuisine. You're going to see a lot more in Caribbean cuisine. So you've got that heat side, and then the salt to kind of balance that. And so that's literally what you see each time I do a dish. So I have this one dish that I had never tried before, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. It's called chana masala. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. But chana, it's basically chickpeas. Everybody has heard of a garbanzo bean, but that's basically the three flavor profiles. You've got the sweet, the spicy, and the salty. And so then bringing that into to southernize that, you can add additional things to make that interesting. But again, the chana is not chana masala is not an American dish, but you will recognize those flavors because we brought some of that over to the United States, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that's traditionally you would see it in Indian restaurants. It's traditionally
correct.
Indian.
Yeah.
You lived in Atlanta for a while, and do you know the Savi markets there, like SAVI?
I do not, actually.
Oh,
no.
So when I was just there, I got there the first night and just kind of went walking around and just felt like getting some food to take back and to my room. And there's a marketplace, and I went in, and they had like chana masala, but a couple of other Indian dishes that a couple had dairy, right? But the chana masala did not. And it was just in clear plastic to-go bowls with the ingredients. I mean, you could tell the guy's mom had made them at home. And I was like, this is going to be good. And it was the best chana masala I've ever put in my mouth. And I called the market after I ate it. And I was like, am I right? Is this, because that was the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. He said, yeah, that's from my mom. It was so good. But it was everything you were talking about. And I couldn't, I didn't really know how to describe it, but it was heat and salt and a little bit of spice and a little bit of, a bit of smoke.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Yeah. You're not going to get that in California, probably.
I saw you on TV share grilled fruit, which I thought was a really interesting. I never thought of grilling fruit. We always put vegetables, tofu on kebabs, and meat eaters put lots of meat on kebabs. Yeah. But Kimberly put fruit.
I mean, why not? It's summer, and we put everything on a kebab. Like you said, we have a ton of meat. So why not put right next to that, especially if you have a meat eater at home, to put something that's healthier for you on the grill as well. And, I really enjoyed trying out new things with those recipes. I think something. I created something so unique that I surprised myself. I think that's the thing that honestly impresses me about myself when I make something. I'm like, oh my God, this is a whole thing. I've never even heard of it. This is amazing. So I made a Jolly Rancher flavored fruit kebab. And I was just like, who would have thought?
Now tell us how you did it, because you explained it really well, and so we don't have to have. It's not that complicated, right?
No, it's not. It's not. So I took several fruits that can hold heat on the grill for a little bit, and so I had some banana, I had watermelon, mango, I may have even had peach. And I grilled it for a few seconds on each side. And then the toppings is what made it interesting. And Dotsie, again, you're going to hear these same fundamentals. We've got the sweet, the spicy, the smoky, and the heat. So you've got the smoky that comes from the grill when you place it on the grill. So once it comes off the grill, you put a little bit of ancho chili powder, lime juice, maple syrup. And when you try this, it is so surprising, because I was eating it with my mom. I was like, Mom, this tastes like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. Like, I don't understand how I got here, but I am loving it.
So thank you so much for tuning in today. If we helped you in any way, then click the subscribe button and let's keep hanging out together. We have so much more to share with you.
And if you need more information on actually making the switch for good, please visit us at switchforgood.org for loads of info. And you can subscribe to our mailing list, where you will receive all sorts of super cool gifts, discount codes to our very fave dairy-free products, and a lifetime of powerful health tips.
So join us on the journey to switch for good. This is the future.